guys, it's Zombie, and this is Super Fun Packs Time, sponsored by N.O.W, your source for custom gaming servers. And I am...
the hero that nobody wanted, or perhaps the villain that everyone wanted to meet.
the butt-touching bandit.
What a time to be alive. Just when you think these people can't fuck things up any more spectacularly, you get bully hunters. Now, you might be wondering why this anally obsessive woman's face is replacing my usual avatar. Well, basically it's because of this. By the way, this might be a good time to mention that you can also find my videos on BitChute, and that you are perfectly free to mirror this video itself as many times as you like. Just, in case. Not that anything is likely to happen because, let's face it, she doesn't have the testicular matter, but hey, I have been wrong before. Who is she, you ask? That is Natalie Casanova, aka Zombie Unicorn, aka Titty Streamer Extraordinaire. Nope, sorry, my bad. I forgot that Natty doesn't like to be referred to or thought of as a titty streamer or a cam girl. In fact, she thinks it's harassment. Personally, I can't imagine why anyone would confuse her for a titty streamer. Can't imagine. Not at all.
Whoa!
Well, hi there.
What are you supposed to be? Some sort of wood nymph?
No, I'm a wood nympho.
A what?
You know, an ethereal spirit of handjobs and blowies.
I'm not following you, like, at all.
A goddess of doggy and Bob Johnson's.
Still not really getting it.
You know, the queen of salami hiding and getting BJ Novak's autograph?
Boggles my mind. Anyways, we'll get to that in a minute. First, the background stuff. There's a lot to cover and unpack here, and not a lot of time to get through it all, but I've got some time off work and some new painkillers which are just fabulous, so gird your loins and put on a rubber because we're doing this quick and dirty. So about 5 days or so ago, an unnamed game developer supposedly teabagged a supposed games journalist named Amanda Farrow after doing a team kill in an unnamed PvP game that she was playtesting at PAX. This was brought to light via a tweet chain between Amanda and Game Informer editor Michael, please ma'am put it in gently, Futter. Naturally, the two attempted to stir up a bunch of drama over the incident, with Futter insisting from his ivory steed that no one should subject a poor defenseless woman to the old Team Fortress handshake. Several people told him that he was completely blowing things out of proportion, which garnered the usual reaction that such things get from these social justice types, subtly threatening to blacklist any of the devs who weren't on his side for coverage for any games they might make in the future, blah blah blah. Futter, by the way, was part of the original Game Journals Pro Group, a secret organization of journalists that would use their positions to help each other out, give one another jobs, and otherwise help out their friends in the industry. Oh, and make gamers dead, which worked out so very, very well for them. So, you know the drill, screaming, gnashing of teeth, calls for the dev in question to be brought to light and placed in front of the public firing squad, dipping him in molten hair dye, the usual stuff. So as you can probably guess, this turned out to be totally fabricated on the part of the snowflake in question. Fortunately for the developers, Game Journal's coverage is worthless as nothing else but schadenfreude and amusement, so really this probably only helped them out in the end. It should be reiterated, though, that Farrow and Futter were perfectly willing to set a mob on some harmless indie developer just to fuel their own egos and score victim bucks. And what annoys me about this is that these people actually have full-time jobs doing this shit, while most of the rest of us have full-time jobs where we actually contribute positively to society and get paid perplexingly little for it in proportion to these jackasses. I'm not bitter. Anyways, totally coincidentally, a few days later, the Time's Up movement got involved even deeper into the gaming scene. Basically, Time's Up is Me Too Gamergate edition. Oh, and speaking of Gamergate, there's one other little important thing I forgot to mention that took place between these two events. The day after the teabagging claims first came to light, a new hashtag was started on Twitter, GamergateHD. This was a troll operation in which a bunch of very new Twitter accounts with mysteriously unsubtle alt-right sounding names made hate comments about women in games and threats to various women in games, including the group I'm about to talk about, the Bully Hunters. So as I said, the Time's Up movement popped its head up about this time, totally coincidental, and none of that preceding stuff was certainly to drum up outrage for their campaign, I'm sure. And they brought forth a new, totally awesome idea called the Bully Hunters, a self-styled online vigilante group of quote-unquote elite female gamers who will offer their services to victims of harassment and bullying in CSGO. by infiltrating the game and killing the bully for them in the game. Which is supposed to be a punishment, I guess. I mean, that person probably died at least 15 times that day already, but I guess when a bully hunter does it, it's extra inconvenient. And what's to stop someone from just claiming they were bullied and sicking one of these elite players on someone better than them that they want to take down? Or just someone that they too want to bully? I mean, it seems to me this is very easily abused. Now, some of you might be thinking that there's something suspicious about the fact that there were 2 relatively high-profile harassment incidents just before a new feminist campaign to stamp out harassment was made. But that's only because you're all bad people too. Surely feminists would never drum up fake outrage to help their bottom line. Now, the lovely lady whose image I showed you at the beginning, Zombie Unicorn, is a supposedly high-profile Twitch streamer and the main spokesman for this campaign. Sponsored by the likes of SteelSeries, Verita Gear, CyberPower PC. Remember these companies when you do your next boycott. The Diverse Gaming Coalition and, wait for it, the National Organization of Women. This superstar coalition of excellence launched their campaign with a live stream on Twitch in which they displayed and demonstrated their services and how it would work for the gaming audience. At least that was the idea and the claim. The reality of the situation is that what they tried to present as a live show, which would introduce a magnificent new mechanism with which to combat abuse and harassment, was actually a lie from top to bottom, and ultimately nothing more than a corporate commercial for SteelSeries and a vehicle to push feminist propaganda. Did I mention this was backed by the National Organization of Women? Firstly, the stream was marred by technical issues such as frequent freezes and drop-offs. Some people have been criticizing them for incompetence in running a stream, while the bully hunters themselves have claimed it was a deliberate act to try and prevent people from copying the live stream. Personally, I think it was done just to try and cover up some of the obvious jump cuts, where the player is on one map of the game or game mode, and yet then mysteriously is on another map or game mode entirely. We'll get to that in a second. Secondly, although the stream was supposed to be an hour long in its promotional material, it actually only was just over half that, and only about 8 minutes or so involves anything relating to actual gaming, while the rest is just feminist gobbledygook about how bad women have it in gaming. It was so boring, tedious, and full of ignorant fluff, I thought I was watching a Leanna K video for a moment there, but my ears weren't leaking blood. Thirdly, there's our spokeswoman, Miss Buttcrack Bandito. She does a wonderful job of acting nice in front of the camera and concerned when she talks about all the bullying and harassment that poor women are forced to contend with online. Even the harassment that isn't being caused by her. Natty herself has quite a catalog of tweets and instances on her Twitch stream insulting and using inflammatory, sexist, at least by feminist standards, and hateful language to get back at people. Not long after people started pointing out the sheer hypocrisy of someone like her being paid to do something like this, she released a statement on Twitter and Reddit defending herself, saying that she was provoked and harassed into it, and that she'd apologize for all of her infractions and would never attack someone without reason. Which I guess makes it okay. I'm sure she would accept these as valid excuses if someone else used them. Right? And fourthly, and most importantly, nothing the bully hunters are claiming they will do can actually be done in a real game. But don't take my word for it. Let's go to the videotape.
Welcome everyone, we're here at Ignite Gaming Lounge. I'm Natalie Casanova, also known as Zombie Unicorn.
I like cock.
Okay, gotcha.
I'm a Twitch streamer and longtime gamer, having worked in the industry for over 6 years. I'm really excited to be here today for the first ever Bully Hunters Live. This issue is a serious one, and it's really near and dear to my heart. Making gaming a more safe and special place for everyone, a more welcoming place for all.
Yeah, see, this is what I meant about their glitches. I haven't actually paused this video at all, and I remind you that despite their claims of going live, this was pre-recorded.
Female gamers have experienced harassment, sex taunts, or threats in-game. Millions of gamers, female gamers, and gamers alike, have experienced trying to hide their gender online to just avoid targeted harassment. And 36% of female gamers have literally stopped playing a game or stopped playing games altogether because of this.
Oh yeah, this claim. This was actually a claim that she made online to a psychology researcher called Platinum, When asked for the source for this study by Platinum, Zombie Unicorn refused to give it and just told her to watch the stream because there was just too much information to possibly give over Twitter. Fortunately, Platinum, being the little darling that she is, didn't give up and got the info herself. These stats trace back to a so-called study called Sexism in Video Games. Is there sexism in gaming? It was a study conducted by Emily Matthews, an elementary school teacher in California with a degree in liberal arts. She delivered a survey to the subreddits r/girl-gamers and r/gaming, one of which is heavily feminist-leaning, and one which is very feminist-leaning and populated mostly by beta-feminist men who are pretending to be female gamers. She also posted the studies to her Twitter and to Facebook, and she ended up with 874 responses. You can find the link to Paragon's blog post about the whole thing in the low bar, but here's just a sample of the problems that she found in it.
You can find all the sources for these statistics on bullyhunters.org.
No, you won't. This is as good as you're going to get. This little blurb under this big, huge advertisement from their sponsor. That's the deeply complicated information that she couldn't convey on Twitter. By the way, I should mention again that the stream is over half an hour long, so I am going to be skipping around in it. There's a link to the full thing in the low bar so you can watch it, but really, you might think I'm leaving out all sorts of important information in this thing, but really I'm not. 80% of this stream was taken up by a bunch of feminists sitting around spewing the same feminist propaganda that we've heard 50,000 times. And it's not any more compelling this time than it was before. Believe me.
Now, I'm going to explain to you what we're doing today and who's involved.
This looks more like the mission control of a James Bond villain.
Introducing a new tool that's going to be available globally to help end in-game harassment by connecting victims of in-game harassment with skilled gamers who want to help in real time.
Just to remind you all.
Over here, we have our casual gamers. These gamers represent you and I. They're just doing what they love to do. They're right now playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive, otherwise known as CSGO. And now, over here, we have some completely different gamers, not connected into the casual gamers whatsoever in any way. These are the bully hunters. So, how does this all work? First, let me introduce you to my co-host, our co-host, Tien Tran. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Tien Tran. I too love gaming, but I am not involved in the gaming industry in any way. I represent the everyday casual gamer.
Notice how she didn't admit that she's actually a feminist comedian / actress? I'm guessing she was Now's idea.
I'm an idealist who has hopes and dreams for a world vision that I know will never come to fruition, at least in my lifetime. It is hard to be a feminist. There are a lot of people who make really quick judgments of you because you're There are a lot of people who would dismiss me. There are a lot of people in the world who hate women just because they are women. They believe they are less than men and basically would like to release them to incubators for babies and keep them around to populate the planet.
Yes!
There are people, mostly men, willing to kill doctors, nurses, and pregnant women by bombing and shooting our pro-choice women's clinics, so that bothers me so much. I feel so disturbed by the violence against women. So many people are so grossly misinformed about the world and this country.
I'm going to help make some of today's show a little easier to understand for the non-gaming viewer.
You think there are non-gaming viewers on a Twitch stream about video games and bullying in video games, which you only even advertise to a gaming audience? Okay, sure.
Here's a top-level explanation for what may happen. While our casual gamers are playing, they may experience harassment. When that happens, we'll be alerted. They'll also call on a bully hunter. A bully hunter will jump into their game and take on harassment head-on. They'll hunt down and take out the perpetrator.
Again, I don't see how this is supposed to punish them. You die in these games all the time.
You heard that correctly. Bully hunters will get these harassers where it hurts them the most, by beating bullies at their own game. Will it happen tonight while you are watching? We don't know, but odds are...
We don't know, but odds are yes, because if it didn't happen, then we would have nothing to show off and we'd look like idiots. Fortunately, we're going to have another glitch that will suspiciously take us right to an incident in progress. Seriously, that's actually what happens.
We don't know, but odds are yes. Okay, we are looking at the play from our casual gamer, the Rose Thorn.
Okay, we're getting to the good part here. Remember that name, the Rose Thorn.
Let's watch what happens. Take a look. This is a type of harassment that over 21 million female gamers have experienced. It was at this moment when we saw that it was not just trash talking, it was straight up harassment. So that's when the Rose Thorn, our casual gamer, decided to call on one of our bully hunters. What the Rose Thorn did in this case was use our new tool on her mobile device. We'll show you later how our tool works. But let's see what happens now. So the bully hunter has now been alerted and should be joining the game soon. Okay, pause right there. Now zoom in to the bottom left corner. It says our bully hunter has just entered the game. See, Bully Hunter 77
Remember that name as well.
has joined the game. Now our victim, the Rose Thorn, and our bully hunter can communicate with one another. Let's take a look at how that plays out. Now let's zoom out and roll the footage, please. And there it is. Pause right there again, please. Now, our bully hunter has asked the Rose Thorn live in-game who is harassing her.
How do you know they actually harassed her?
And our victim then immediately replied. Let's zoom in again on the bottom left-hand corner. Now, you see there, the tool connected these two.
Hey, if this is supposedly a live stream, how did you blur out the bully's name so fast?
A victim with a bully hunter. Okay, so now Bully Hunter 77 knows the name of the harasser, and she is ready to take action. Now we are going to switch over to Bully Hunter 77's screen to watch the hunt. Cut to that feed, please, and play it. So we are watching our Bully Hunter. She knows who the harasser is, and she is on the hunt. You can still hear the harassment in the background. It doesn't stop. So now Bully Hunter 77 is looking for the harasser. And it looks like she's going to use her knife, folks. And there it is, just pause right there. Let's back up and see that again. A brilliant knife move, very difficult.
She knifed a guy from behind when he wasn't looking. Yeah, that was elite playing. Yeah, I spit on your grave, this is not.
And look right there. See in the lower left-hand corner, let's pause that and zoom into that. Our bully hunter left the calling card message to the harasser. Harassment is not a game. bullyhunters.org.
Okay, first off, let's go down the list of everything that was wrong with that scenario. Number 1. If you look at this part here, where the supposed victim is being bullied, you can see by the bonus weapon display popping up that they are on deathmatch mode, and they are on the Dust 2 map. However, when one goes to the bully screen, you can see that the hunter is not only on a different map, the Dust map, but the game mode has changed too, which you can see from the money icon now in the corner. This means that the supposed bully is in wingman mode, I believe. This happens in their second example later in the stream as well.
That's her, but let's cut to her feed. So we can see right now that we're in Pinklight 23's game. She's doing what she loves, playing CSGO.
You just saw that change, right? Remember, this is supposed to be live.
You want to get raped, bitch? I know where you live. I can't handle how big her tits are. You want me to rape you?
Now,
Look at the Asian beta guy shaking his head sadly. I wonder if the audience is paid to be there, or if they dragged in a bunch of dumbass casuals and sat them down with the promise of candy.
23's in-game. What she's going to do is call a bully hunter with our tool. She's doing it right now. She just logged onto our site, logged in with her Steam account, and is now locating a bully hunter. Now let's see which bully hunter was called. So Pink Light 23 called the bully hunter. Now let's go back to her game and see how that plays out. Cut to that, please. Now we have Pink Light 23's game here. And if you look in the bottom left-hand corner, bully hunter, and she's going to ask our Pink Light 23.
Not even the same time of day. Number 2. You can see the Bully Hunter 77 asking the Rose Thorn the name of the bully. Problem is, as far as I know, you cannot direct message someone in particular in the game. You can either do all chat or team chat, so these two cannot be having this conversation. Number 3. You cannot just jump into the middle of a deathmatch in progress, especially not a specific match with a specific person. You also cannot play solo in wingman mode, which is what the bully was playing in. So again, this cannot happen. In fact, the bully hunter premise is fucked up right there. The bully hunter literally is not capable of entering the game to go after the bully. That's why they're pasting together old footage of other CSGO players that they probably got online. Number 4. The sounds for the weapons are old sounds from at least a year ago, meaning this footage is at least a year old. Number 5. Okay. So remember how I told you to remember those two names, the Rose Thorn and Bully Hunter 77? Well, here's why. If you go on Steam and do a search for a user named Bloodblink, you will see that they have known Steam aliases of both Bully Hunter 77 and the Rose Thorn. In other words, both the Bully Hunter and the victim they were avenging are the same person. In fact, the Rose Thorn is apparently several Bully Hunters going by this. I guess they didn't have enough members and needed to pad their numbers. But you notice that the custom URL here says test BHVic1. Yeah, test Bully Hunter Victim 1. They weren't even really trying to hide that one. In fact, if you search through all of the Steam accounts used in this live stream, only 2 of them seem to be real, as one Redditor named Inconvenient Muslim found out after doing some digging. This includes the name of the second bullying victim that we'll see in a few minutes, and their Bully Hunter. All of these names are just aliases that lead to other aliases for the same accounts. Most of them fake. And number 6. It was probably hard to hear the so-called bully on the stream, but the second bully is clearer, so this is what a typical bully is in CSGO apparently.
You want to get raped, bitch? I know where you live. I can't handle how big her tits are. You want me to rape you?
Yes, it really sounds that fake and staged. They didn't even bother to hide it. And again, this was supposed to be live, not pre-recorded or staged, and they didn't even bother to hide the fact that they used the same voice both times. Why do I get the feeling that Natty got this dialogue from one of her X-rated fantasies? So pretty much a fail all around. And so obviously fake and setup, it fooled absolutely no one. People were calling this out during the live stream. Now, in her defense, Zombie Unicorn tweeted a page from her supposed script, which has a line saying that they were attempting to replicate what happens every day to girl gamers. However, this line is nowhere in the stream, and in the stream it is treated as the real thing. She does not claim that she was nervous and missed a few. She does claim that she was nervous and missed a few lines, but since this was all pre-recorded, you'd think they could have done another take if she really missed so many lines. I mean, either she missed the lines and they just didn't care if people misconstrued what they were doing, which makes them stupid and duplicitous, or she's lying about the lines being there and trying to cover their ass, which really still makes them stupid and duplicitous, just malicious as well. Besides, if that's the case, then I want to see how she explains this. So here's the thing, Natty. You want to try and claim that this is just a dramatization of how your system was supposed to work, and you can do that all you want. But what exactly were you dramatizing? What were you trying to demonstrate? Your system does not and cannot work as you advertise it. You're not able to do what you were claiming to do on the live stream, so no matter what, this is all a dirty lie. It's really just a question of the number of lies at this point. Okay, so like I said, the rest is really just feminist nonsense, but if you want to know what's being said that badly, here are the highlights.
It's the targeted, repeated bullying of female gamers. It creates a hostile online environment for women where they don't want a game, they're discouraged from becoming gamers, and most importantly, it has an impact on them offline.
The thing we know, whether it's online or face-to-face sexual harassment, is the impact on the person who's being harassed is that sense of diminishment, feeling less than, and that flood of shame and fear and terror, quite frankly. Move from a culture of harassment to a culture of inclusion. We're really moved from a culture of harassment to a culture of inclusion.
Harassment happens everywhere, and sexual objects online. I mean, games are really catering towards men's fantasies of being dominant, in control, and
we live and have lived for thousands of years in a patriarchal culture, which means we've had spaces that have been able to be male-dominated spaces where men have set the terms and created the community. And that's what that when there's more diversity in our lives, when we have community, with problem is in a patriarchy.
Now, in light of all this news, SteelSeries has spoke up and done a massive backstep. Whereas before they were coming out totally in support of the Bully Hunters thing and saying how glad they were to start a conversation, SteelSeries, when asked about their promotion and their attempt to shamelessly hoard their merchandise while scoring virtue bucks, declared piously that all of the money would be going to charity. Which charity, though, was a little harder to get out of them. Finally, someone did, though, and it turns out their charity of choice is Time's Up itself. Of course. They released a public statement yesterday saying that they were very sorry for how gamers were misrepresented and the lies told on stream. To clear a few things up, Bully Hunters was not a viral campaign stage managed by us. We did not hire a marketing agency to create it. We didn't have anything to do with its execution, content, or messaging. And more importantly, we would never take advantage of an issue like bullying to sell hardware. They asked us to supply some headsets, support the call for positive change, and we did. Which I find fascinating, because this article in the Media Post says that SteelSeries has partnered up with the marketing firm FCB Chicago in order to launch the movement. Oh, and then there's this bit of code in the ads which shows that FCB Chicago did in fact have SteelSeries as a client. But SteelSeries is adamant that they had nothing to do with anything that happened or with the stream itself besides providing a few headsets for charity. Oh, and the whole event was filmed inside one of their locations. And everyone in the stream is using their keyboards and other products. So basically, they're asking us to believe that they lent their company's name and support to an event and never once bothered to look into anything about it or investigate the people organizing it, and had absolutely no idea what it was doing.
I'll believe that when my shit turns purple and smells like rainbow sherbet.
Now, Natalie just finished her own little stream where she responded finally to all of the hubbub, and she was very calm and well-mannered against criticism, especially considering her responses before the Bully Hunter stream on Twitter. Almost like she fucked up and is in damage control mode. I don't think she did herself much good, however, since she basically doubled down on many things and claimed ignorance on others. She tried to play as though the bogus statistics used in the stream were still right and totally valid, and that she hadn't refused to give any sources, she just didn't have them on hand. Most notably is that she threw SteelSeries under the bus, effectively denying their whole spin on the narrative and saying that it was a rep for SteelSeries who recruited her for the whole thing in the first place, and that she never was really comfortable with the way the Bully Hunter thing was supposed to work. Apparently that didn't stop her from going along with it, but hey, basically she didn't do nothing. Similar statements have been made by Vertigear, Cyberspace PC, and the Diverse Gaming Coalition. Basically, everyone who is in any way involved in this is running like hell to the nearest pulpit to denounce the new pariah. Except now, of course, because you can't really polish a lump of wet horseshit that much anyways, so why bother? There is still so much I could say and tell you about this, but this is getting long and I think I've covered the major bits, so this will be the last thing I'll talk about. In the aftermath of this, the Hunters themselves released a statement, claiming that everyone else is presenting false facts, and that sites like Archive are easily hacked and faked, claiming that, oh noes, 63% of women are either harassed in-game or, oh the horror, mansplained to about for no other reason than because of their gender. And their citation for any of this is absolutely nothing, of course. And if those statistics don't scare you, well, they can make up some different ones. I'll give Natty the final few words. I'm out.
I like cock.
Okay, gotcha.